Hello friends and welcome to India Interacts. I'm Deepak Amin. I'm your host for today's discussion on how India can innovate better. And we have with us today to talk about this topic, Bharat Ratna Award winner and India's missile man, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Please give a warm welcome. Dr. Kalam, welcome to the show and thank you so much for coming here. I know you were here at IIT recently also. You have spoken and written a lot about innovation, about how India can be a developed country, and of late you've written very specifically just a few days ago about how India can be a powerful country in 2030. Could you tell us and tell our young audience here what innovation means to you, why it's important to India, and how you view India as taking innovation and moving forward?
Thank you, my friend Deepak Amin. And also I like to greet Professor R.K. Sivagamkar and all the IIT students. I'm very happy in your company. And first of all, friends, I felt I must define discovery, invention and innovation. Discovery, invention and innovation. What are the relationship I want to, so that we understand what we are going to discuss. Now, discovery, as you all know, relates to finding new laws, a principle and concept. Example, Raman effect is a discovery. Einstein energy equation is a discovery. Chandrasekhar Chandra's limit is a discovery. Okay? Now, invention from the basic theory evolved finding new system. For example, Graham Bell's telephone is an invention. Graham Bell telephone is an invention. And Thomas Alva Edison's light and bulb, it is an invention. Marconi's wireless system is an invention. Now, what is innovation? Question is, what is the relationship? The change that creates a new dimension to performance is the innovation. Change that creates a new dimension is the innovation. It's the definition for Peter Drucker. Now, example, you take telephone. A telephone was Graham Bell. Telephone and wireless communication is equal to, you may get a mobile telephone and its variants. And its application is a great example of innovation. That is the mobile telephone, mobile system, mobile telephone becomes an innovation. Internet is invention. Internet is an invention. Cable television is another invention. Using internet to deliver cable TV over a computer is an innovation. Followed? Yes or no? Dr. Manilal Bhaumik's invention is excimer laser. He invented laser. The laser itself discovery. Laser is a discovery, but Dr. Manilal Bhaumik invention is excimer laser. And application of excimer laser for eye surgery is innovation. Can you see the difference between the discovery and the invention and innovation? You got it? Yes or no? Now, let me ask a professional choice, friends, among you. What are your professional choices? So that my discussion will relate to innovation linked to your professional dream. So I want to ask you, how many of you like to pursue research career? How many of you? So, okay, good number, good, I'm very happy, good number, okay. How many of you, same hand should not lift. How many of you would like to enter political and governance area? Political and governance area. Nice guy. Nice guys, I'm very happy to see young fellows want to enter politics, make a big change, okay? Next one, how many of you would like to become a general entrepreneurs? General entrepreneurs, okay. How many of you want to become social entrepreneurs? You know, there is a difference. You don't make a lot of money in social entrepreneurs. Whereas entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
So they make a lot of money. Okay, how many of you want to become a social entrepreneur? Okay, now I know where you are, okay? Now, friends, let me talk to you, friends. The story of invention inventors, discovery and discoverers. You can interact with me. Let us study the important inventors and their invention. When I say Wright brothers, immediately we remember, what is that? Aircraft, the two brothers, when people said it cannot be done, they have done it. George Eastman, can you think of? Film. George Eastman's color film he discovered. Thomas Edison, just now I told you, the light bulb. That's all innovation and inventors. Alexander Graham Bell, telephone. So these are all invention and inventors. Let us go to discoverers and discoveries. Albert Einstein, energy equation E equal to mc square. Now Srinivasa Ramanujan, great mathematics man in India, produced number theory. He gave a shape to number theory. Chandrasekhar Subramanian, black hole, and also he established the Chandra limit. Use a small equation. Using the Chandra limit, you can calculate how long sun will shine. Now, all of you want to remember what I am saying, because if you want to be inventors, if you want to be discoverers, if you want to be innovators, I am going to give you what type of characteristic you must have. Invention and discoveries have emanated from creative minds that have been constantly working and imaging the outcome. The telephone, he was imaging the outcome in the mind. With imaging and constant effort, all the forces of the universe work for that inspired mind, thereby leading to invention discoveries. Now, higher the number of creative minds in an organization, the best results of innovation will emerge.
I just wanted to ask you,
yes.
That was a good sort of introduction to people about the differences between innovation and discovery. I'd love for the students here to get a little bit closer to you personally, meaning from your couple of projects, major projects that you've been involved in the past. We'd love to hear some interesting stories that involved innovation. I know you've been involved in some very exciting projects.
Yeah, first let me talk to you a story, then I'll come back to me. The story of IIT graduate transforming into an inventor. Okay, you want to hear that? How many of you want to hear? All of you. There is Dr. Manilal Bhaumik, is a PhD in quantum physics from IIT Kharagpur. Okay, he was invited by Professor Macmillan for doctorate research at UCLA. It's a California Institute of Technology, Los Angeles. Dr. Bhaumik comes from a village. You note this one. Dr. Bhaumik comes from a village where he stayed in a mud house. He explains his story in the book titled Code Name God. It's a paperback. Code Name God. Code Name God. He has written a nice book, God. The professor who was his guide, that's Macmillan, Professor Macmillan, who was his guide during the postdoctoral days, used to give him time between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. every week for 2 days in the library of the university. How many of you have patience to go to 2 a.m., 3 a.m.? That's real research. He gave 2 hours time and between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. he gave. And he used to go and meet the professor. Bhaumik used to go and meet the professor positively at that time for discussing his project. Concurrently, Dr. Bhaumik was working in Northrop Corporation Research and Technology Center in Los Angeles, LA. He was working there. During his research with his co-researcher, world's first efficient excimer laser, which later found extended use as an immensely popular LASIK corrective eye surgery, was invented. That's the inventor Bhaumik invented the excimer laser. Then it became an innovation for eye surgery, LASIK eye surgery. It is used today also. And later it got an application for eye surgery. Throughout the world is used. Dr. Bhaumik, successful innovator and celebrated innovator. Of course, you young fellows can dream for his life how to build 5 mansions in California. He has built 5 mansions in California. How do you like it? 5 mansions in California beach he has built. Because when he discovered the excimer laser, he became a rich fellow. Okay? Okay? So, now since the IIT campus, Delhi, I am, a breakthrough has been achieved by developing composite knee joint IIT Delhi with reduced weight and flexible joint. It is cost effective, easy to wear, and is in production. It is already in production. IIT Delhi team with Professor Bharati Bhatt, now she is not there, Professor Bharati Bhatt and Professor Kaul has developed a C-band phase shifter for phased array radar in the country for the first time. We all used that C-band phase shifter for building a huge radar. One of the great innovations that happened, which I am involved, you asked, Deepak, you asked
yes,
what I am involved. One of the great innovations that happened with two-nation partnership is the development and production and marketing of the first supersonic cruise missile in the country. Now, this supersonic cruise missile, I was at that time working scientist, okay? What the difference between a working scientist and non-working scientist. So when I was working in my laboratory, and I visited my Russian counterpart, and he's called Professor Yefimov. He showed me number of labs. And I found, when it is a secret lab, when I found it's a defense laboratory like mine I was dealing, when I saw the item, there is some core competence uniquely I have not seen any lab in the world or in my country. So I noted the unique technology level 2 area we identified. Then I invited Professor Yefimov to my labs at RCA Research Center, Imarat, Hyderabad. He came and he visited there, and he also located 2 unique core competencies. Then we found that Russia has got 2 unique core competencies, and India has got 2 unique core competencies, and if we bring them together, a unique system may emerge. That's how India's first supersonic cruise missile emerged. With the investment of $300 million, today it has become $10 billion business. This is really innovation. There is innovation technology, innovation marketing, and innovation in production. All the 3 areas there. Okay.
I think maybe based on what Dr. Kalam has said and based on the response I'm saying, maybe we can go directly into a Q&A session here. It'll make it a little bit more personal and more exciting for everybody.
Before that, I want to tell you, innovation, where are we? Innovation, where are we? India, where are we? You must know that, so that you guys get ready to do better things. Innovation index is the 2011. If you go to internet, you get 2011. Innovation, Switzerland number 1 innovation index. Okay. You are happy? Sweden number 2, Singapore number 3, Finland 5, USA 7, Canada 8, Germany 12, Japan 20, China 29, India, can you guess? 62. India 62. Now the question is how to convert the 62 into first 10 innovation index. Isn't that a good ambition? You must graduate with all the young people when I see, definitely you must graduate to index number 10. Now, when I was a president in 2007, one great lady came from Finland. At that time, Finland 2007 number 1, index number 1. I asked the lady, tell me, how do you make your country number 1 nation in the innovation index? She told me, education and right type of education and women education. That's what he said. Education and right type of education. Right type of education, that means creative education and women education. This is the answers he gave. So we need for innovation a creative education, capacity building, global human cadre, my recent experience, evolution of innovation. Now you can ask me questions. Shall we, all of you repeat with me if you don't mind? Will you? Yes, sir. Will you repeat or no? Yes, sir. Imagination leads to creativity. Creativity blossoms Thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge results innovation. Innovation make the nation. What? Innovation make the nation great. Great. Innovation make the nation great. So this is creative education. Any campus, what we need, if we want to innovation index go first 10, imagination leads to creativity. That means imagination, the classrooms should be imaginative, the teachers should be imaginative, syllabus should be imaginative, okay? And students also imaginative. Creative blossoms thinking, starting point creativity. Thinking provides knowledge, knowledge makes results innovation, and innovation makes the nation great, okay? So if this you have understood, then we have to work for it, how to make the nation within the 10 numbers in 5 years' time. Okay? Will you do, all of you? Yes, sir. Otherwise, I'll catch you.
We have to take a little bit of a break. Please don't go away. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Dr. Kalam, you were talking about what it means for us to take innovation to another level, to get to level 10.
Well, I believe if you want to creative education, just now I told you, first thing is the imagination leads to creativity, like that. You all repeated with me. And the parameters we need to just lift the index, creativity and the education system. Creativity in the education system. To primary education and before, everywhere creativity has to come. Secondary education, higher education. In today's education, if you don't mind, I want to repeat it. In today's education system, biggest reform needed is primary education. Because that is the age 15 and the children have to be creative. If they have to be creative, you need a classroom creative, a syllabus creative, and teacher has to be creative. So that's the area we have to concentrate on. Now, regarding the higher education, like what you guys are doing, higher education, the following aspect will be considered. That is like IIT education, university education. Regarding the higher education, following aspect will be considered. What are they? Number one, research and inquiry. Research inquiry, if you index, that is index of innovation go to 10, research and inquiry has to be one of the component of the teaching and research. Second one is creativity and innovation. Third one, use of high technology. Fourth one, entrepreneurial leadership. Fifth one, moral leadership. And all the five components make the creative education. Okay? Now I want to tell for the student, young people, history has proven that those who dare to imagine the impossible are the ones who break all the human limitations. In every field of human endeavor, whether science, medicine, sports, arts or technology, the names of the people, just now I listed some of the names of the people who imagined the impossible are engraved in our history. By breaking the limits of their imagination, they change the world. You take C.V. Raman, you take Newton, you take Einstein, you take Chandrasekhar. By breaking the limits of their imagination, they change the world. The great, if you want to hear some examples, Yes, example. Now I'm going to give you two examples. One is the childhood, that young age, how they thought, what made them to imagine creative. Two stories I'm going to tell you. When Albert Einstein was 5 years old, 5 years boy, his father showed him a pocket compass. Einstein realized that there must be something in the space previously thought to be empty that was moving the needle. Later stated, this experience made a deep and lasting impression. In a campus, if you see, the needle moves. Why it moves? He was a 5-year-old boy. So that created in his mind curiosity. As he grew, Einstein built models and mechanical device for fun and began to show a talent for mathematics. Now, in 1889, family friend Max Talmud, a medical student, introduced a 10-year-old Einstein to a key science and mathematics textbook. Is called Euclid's Elements, Euclid's Elements. Einstein called it Holy Little Geometry. This geometry book, small book he got when he was a 10-year boy, he calls it Holy Book. Einstein began to understand deductive reasoning, and by the age of 12 he had learned Euclidean geometry. Soon after he began to investigate calculus. His father intended for him to pursue electrical engineering, but Einstein clashed with the authorities, resented the second regime. He later wrote that spirit of learning and creative thought were lost in the strict memory-oriented learning. So he became the new person because the two small books, they changed their life. Now, when everybody consider sea travel as an experience of voyage, when Sir C.V. Raman was traveling from UK to Calcutta, to London to Calcutta, he saw the sea was blue and sky was blue in the horizon when sun was shining in the evening. He asked why, and he got a Nobel Prize. Okay, that means he was pondering why the horizon where the sky and sea meet looks blue. His research resulted the phenomena of inelastic scattering of photon in the light. For this discovery, C.V. Raman was awarded Nobel Prize. Any questions now?
Yeah, please ask questions, folks.
Good evening, sir. What is the problem with the research environment here? Why is there so much of, be it politics, be it so much of leg pulling, or why is it not so creative?
No, my view, what is your dream? Tell me, what's your dream?
She wants to innovate
for India. You know, if that is so, see, it in the globalized world, knowledge workers movement definitely will take place. Okay, whether you are from India to another country or another country to India, knowledge workers will move. That is means people who have acquired the knowledge, there will be movement will be always there. Just like Indians will go, the people will come from other parts of India. Okay. So, these phenomena you have to accept. How do we create a creative environment? My feeling is, I have seen, I went to Harvard, okay. A few weeks back I was in Harvard. In the Harvard, I visited, they call it engineering applied science. The engineering department, they call it engineering and applied science. There I saw 3 laboratories. One is innovation laboratory. In the innovation laboratory, the student, it is nothing to do with their syllabus. The students at the evenings, at the holidays, they go and they can work themselves, they can have their partner. For example, I saw in the innovation laboratory of Harvard, 3 students, one from MIT, next campus, another from Harvard, another from industry. They were working on how cable TV can be removed. That means how cable TV can work via the internet, like internet, that is IP, that is internet protocol in telephone system. How we can work the cable TV in the internet, they were working. Then I went to another laboratory, that is 2 professors I have met, 2 professors. And one professor is a biotechnology professor. He is working in the IT area. How the biotechnology can be used at the IT area. Similarly, the IT professor working in biotechnology. So what it means is the compartmentation in our system has been removed. No iron curtain between the departments. Second thing is, apart from what you are doing, there should be a provision for students to innovate. That means in the time, free time, they must put their ideas, a laboratory, innovation laboratory should come.
You have a mic there?
Why there is no setup and no institution in India which comes to place people for research, for alternative fuel energy, alternative sources of energy?
No, it's a good point. You got a very good point. You see, what is happening, You know, when you come to IIT, if you are outside, you are coming in your car or scooter, 1 liter petrol generate 2.8 kilogram of carbon dioxide, 1 liter, okay? That's the point you are saying. Then imagine throughout the world they are using cars and trucks. Per year they generate 30 billion tons of carbon dioxide. That means we are damaging the ozone, and then the environment warming, that is the type of climate change is we will be accelerating. So I have suggested what is called energy independence. By 2030, we must go for energy independence. That means we go away from fossil fuel, that is fuel, diesel, petrol, and coal, and this type of thing. You graduate from that to solar power, wind power, hydropower, and nuclear power, and biofuel. This is my 2030 we should achieve, so that 50% of fossil fuel usage can be reduced. And also, it is estimated by World Energy Forum, another 60 years' time, the availability of fossil fuel, oil, petrol, coal is go on reducing because it's not a renewable energy. So we have to get ready now itself for a clean fuel. Clean fuel, solar power, wind power, hydro power, and nuclear power, and biofuel. Okay, it's a good idea. Okay, next.
Yes.
Sir, my name is Abhishek. I am a fourth year physics student. When it was pointed out that research environment is not good here and people are going abroad, you said that it's a phenomenon that people go abroad and from abroad people come here. But here I don't see any PhD student from abroad. But I see 95% of students here going for a PhD abroad. Don't you really think that the research environment here is demotivating?
Well, I say it's a fact. The India's in the education higher education institutions. That's why I was telling you the syllabus, particularly undergraduate syllabus, where IIT or university, part of it has to be a research oriented. It's not only postgraduate or PhD. You have to go for research. That research environment we have created. That means, what is the solution? The solution is, I have seen, whenever a experienced, the higher researchers level professor moves in the environment, in the university students' environment, he is like a magnet. He attracts students for research not only from the same institution, from multiple institutions, even from abroad. So the solution to that, we have to create a research environment. That means we have to create the teaching environment. After all, what is teaching? The higher the research, higher the teaching capacity. So research, teaching, research. So I personally believe that our universities and our IITs, time has come, we have to give priority for a research environment. But you are all fighting against the syllabus. Your syllabus you are fighting. So the reform has to come from the evolution of the new syllabus and the evolution of a new type of teaching system, and also the classrooms.
One question more before I take a break, and then we'll come back. How about, yeah, in the back there?
Good evening, sir. My name is Rachit. I am a final year student here. So, do you think that we as a society are set up, to actually, tackle this problem and not, tell the new graduates to go to a job because it is safe, and then, once say a venture fails, we do not really look upon that person, with a very high regard. That is with regard to the society thought process, and secondly with regard to the infrastructure in terms of their funding or support from the government or the general ecosystem. So do you think we're equipped to actually promote people to excel?
I have seen the future going to be a convergence of, since you are all technologists, convergence of technology. There is bioscience, information science, and nanotechnology, and the environment, eco, all the four is going to be converging. So this is going to happen. And the environment you have to create for that, there should not be compartmentation. between the departments. That means even the graduate, undergraduate level, there should be 6 months project. The syllabus should be carved out so that the multi-departments, multi-technologies, they could do a project and before going out of the campus. That means they are not going as a single technologist, because in future you will find they are looking for system people. Wherever you go, when industry or anywhere you go, have you done a system design, system development, and or you are unique in a particular research, they will ask. So it looks to me we have to create an environment for the such type of research and also system level development. That means interfacing multiple technology. That we have to do.
We have to take a little bit of a break. Please don't go away. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Rajya Sabha TV's India Interacts discussion series. Our topic today is how can India innovate better? And our distinguished guest, Dr. Kalam. We're going to continue with our questions. Yes, how about there?
Good evening, sir. I am Vaibhav, a second year, right? Sir, there are steps which need to be taken by the government. There are steps need to be taken by the system. Sir, what according to you can we incorporate into it so that we can bring a change to it?
We as in the students?
Yeah, the students.
What can the students do to bring more innovation and entrepreneurship? I think that's what your question was directed towards.
See, as I told you, it's a environment. You got a syllabus, okay? IIT has got a syllabus. So the teachers here, they want to complete the syllabus so that you guys get good marks, okay? So that's the focus. Now what I'm saying, the syllabus, give a room, that 4-year syllabus, that give a room, some sort of a spot should be there out of that 6 months or 9 months period, so that the creativity of the students emanates, and that should be a multi-departmental work. Like for example, biotechnology, information technology, or biotechnology and nanotechnology, or biotechnology and ecology. Like that, that interface should take place. For that, instead of I am asking you, I have to ask that how the syllabus has to be modified, how the teaching type of teachers, the type of quality teachers, we have to research-oriented people, we have to also, we have to enlist so that students will converge to them, wherever research is there. But if there is a syllabus demanded you to go through the syllabus and appear for the exam, you don't have time for the research. But if you got a time, for example, on weekends, you can have an innovation laboratory. Here, for example, a students' community council can think of an innovation laboratory involving multi-departments. That innovation laboratory, students can go and late hours can evolve their own ideas, thoughts and creativity. Some product or software may emanate. So it is in your hand also.
Yes.
You're talking about creativity and fostering this environment. Perhaps we should be starting this in school. I mean, I've heard somewhere that the current education system that we have is something that happened during the Industrial Revolution, where to keep the children of factory workers engaged, they would have one person and all these people sit, 50 children or 100 children sit and study from the same person, which at some level actually stifles creativity. Because you're part of this monotonous system. You go every day, you take these classes, and then you just sort of move on. What are your thoughts on this?
A few months back, I visited a village in Andhra Pradesh. In that village, I was invited to visit, one teacher school. One teacher school? There are some places, there's one teacher. She takes 5 class up to class 5, but 30 students. So when I went to that classroom, it was 7 o'clock in the evening. So full moon night. This teacher got all the students outside and showed the moon and put it a blackboard, a paper blackboard she has put there, started explaining moon, what does it do? Why the full moon, what is the significance of it? How much time it takes to orbit the Earth. She didn't stop. Then Earth, it rotates its own axis. How much time it takes? She asked the students. And some students respond also. Then day and night, how it comes. And then this lady, the teacher asked, the Earth orbits around what? Then some students say it is around the sun. How much time it takes? The one student said it is 1 year, nearly 1 year, 365 days. You know, this is the creative education. This is a creative education, creative classroom, and a creative teacher. Okay? So this is the type of environment you have to create. Followed?
Yes, there.
Sir, my name is Srinivas Gaud. I am M.Tech final year student. After M.Tech, we have two opportunities, two ways in research. One is industrial research. Second one is in institute, wherever we go do PhD. You might have seen many industrial laboratories and research laboratories. I want to ask you that which research career is better, because in industry we can work with people from different fields, and from in the research laboratory only one type of fields would be there. So which one you suggest to us, sir?
The IIT central government funded. Okay. Now most of the universities that are highly research oriented, because of industries have tasted the research results. Because the industry comes to the university or IIT if they know that you can provide a product or a system or a software. So IIT should aim at providing credibility to the industry. IIT can do a great research that will be useful for the industry. So this is my view.
So I want to know who is a good teachers?
Well, it's a good question. For example, when I was a 10-year boy in Rameshwaram Primary School, my teacher was, science teacher was Sivasubramania Iyer. I was a 10-year boy, 5th class. When the teacher enters, we saw he radiates knowledge. And also he radiates purity of life. You know, the two quality I saw in my teacher, that radiates knowledge and radiates purity of life. He's a Gandhian, purity of life I saw. So the students, young age, for a good role model is a teacher. That teacher, particularly primary, secondary school system, we need a great teachers, okay, with knowledge and purity of life.
Questions? Yes.
So, myself Swati, I'm a MTech final year student. I went through this article on Human Development Index and consumption of various countries, and what I saw was India was at the log phase of the graph, which meant that it has plenty of resources and it's still developing, we all know that. So I just wanted to ask that, I mean, we have plenty of resources and we're still developing. The problem with our country is that there's a very improper management of resources. So what, as a country, we all are doing, you know, to incorporate research into managing all these resources and getting students involved into that?
See, my belief is that, you know, I saw recently The Economist, you know, Economist, a journal comes in. This predicts in 2016, every 10 workers, skilled workers, the 4 will be Indians in the world, out of 10 workers because of our population, you know. But we have to give a skill. So I have suggested what is called human resource cadre. Human resource cadre. Keeping the universities and school education system need to create 2 cadres personal. One cadre is called global cadre of skilled youth with specific knowledge of special skills. Another global cadre of youth with higher education with special expertise like you are all. These 2 cadres will be required not only for powering the manufacturing service sector of the India, but also fulfilling the skilled human resource required globally. Thus, the universities and secondary school education system will have to work towards increasing the throughput of the university education system from the existing 11% to 15% by the year 2015, 20% by 2020, and 25% by the year 2025, 30% by 2030. That means our education system with skill and expertise, we have to We have to modify education system and we have to build the people.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Good evening, sir. I am Swarnim Raj, BTech first year student. My question is that how much will an Indian experience foreign pressure if he wants to do some indigenous research on projects as nuclear fusion in order to make hydrogen bomb or human cloning? Meaning to say, will the world support it, or will the US try to make a blockade against us in the UN?
No, there is a, what's happening is, for example, missile area, there is called Missile Technology Control Regime. Okay? As per the Missile Technology Control Regime, the nation, for example, the nation which has got technology, missile, advanced technology, a nation like India cannot get it. That's why we became self-reliant in some of the technologies in missile area, okay? Like Agni, and also the, just now I told you BrahMos, first supersonic cruise missile. These are all denied technology, denied. So we have to develop ourselves. But of course, the fusion area, what you said, there is an international collaboration going on because that is a very difficult area. Number of people is a work together. So many nations are working together in fusion. Up to, they will go up to the reactor, building a small reactor.
Yes.
मेरा एक एग्जांपल है कि पार्थेनियम हिस्टोफोरस नाम की एक वीड है जो कि 1952 में इंडिया में मतलब आया था. उसके बाद से लगभग मतलब पता नहीं कितने लोग पार्थेनियम हिस्टोफोरस के बारे में जानते हैं, लेकिन आज वो एनुअल बेसिस पे लगभग 1 लाख करोड़ रुपीस इंडिया को मतलब हानि पहुंचा रहा है. मेरा बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट है, कोई मोटिवेशन दिखा नहीं. मैंने प्रोफेसर सबसे बात किया कि पार्थेनियम पे काम होना चाहिए, तो लोग यहाँ मोटिवेट हैं, लेकिन एनकरेजमेंट उस ढंग का नहीं मिल पा रहा है.
देयर इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड ग्रास रूट इनोवेशन. दिस ग्रास रूट innovation can come from anywhere. It can be from the laboratory, it can come from the fisherman hut, it can come from farmers, it can come from anywhere. It has come. But we did not have so far a mechanism to find the grassroots innovation. Fortunately, now there is what is called National Innovation Foundation has come, and this every year they locate nearly 80 to 100 grassroots innovators. They go to villages and they find for the farmers who have innovated in the way of farming, innovated in the water supply system, and innovated the way the agriculture crops and agriculture production is improved per hectare. These people have been awarded. There's now a National Innovation Foundation is the Government of India has formed to spot the grassroots innovators, particularly agriculture, the another area. They are available 600,000 villages.
Yes. I'm a research scholar. My question is that our education system is itself like that. It's continuously killing our creativity. So, what is your thought on that?
Well, that house I started. The creativity, particularly in the young age, is very important. So that asking question, having the curiosity. So creativity leads to thinking, and I have told you that how important creative classroom. Creative classroom will come only if a creative syllabus is there. If you are having the syllabus, heavy syllabus, we are heavy, no? Then how do you be creative? Say a young boy or a young girl, they may be good at painting, but you have to give or a poetry or a mathematics, you have to give the opportunity to grow. That is young age we have to do. So that the education system, primary education, needs a lot of reform, and people are working on it.
I have to take, unfortunately we're running short of time, so this is the last question. I can't take any more. Yeah.
My name is Sarthak. I am a third year student. I just wanted to ask, how can we create quality teachers in mass at primary level and at a professorship level?
I can share one experience with you. When I was in Singapore, I went to a school. That school is a school for primary school teachers. That teachers will teach up to 8th class. That means up to children of 13 years age. So the type of selection process, they go through for selecting the primary education teachers is a very fantastic. There are three tiers, just like our IAS, you know, preliminary and the main and the interview. And a series of discussion, they select out of thousands of 1,000 applicants, 10, 20, 30 teachers, give them training. And of course, they pay also properly. So time has come, we have to have creative teachers, and we have to spot and we have to pay them. That's very important.
Okay, sure. Yes, let's give her a chance.
I'm Ishika. I'm basically an environmental researcher. Sir, number first, I'm very overwhelmed to speak in front of you, and it's an honor. I have been listening to a lot of questions which have been raised. Innovation and research. Is it, sir, that here the questions that have been raised were more on innovation, research on resources? So is it that the research is more stressed towards one area in comparison to other? Like, for example, we have climate change. We have renewables, like, for example, we want to invest in that. I know it's good, but even in case of industries, we have energy as a separate section. But what about water? What about other sections which are important and interrelated?
We have to identify for India 2020, the vision, we have identified 5 areas, okay? Yeah, number 1, agriculture, agro-food processing. That means we produce 230 million tons of food. Now our innovation and technology should go production, value addition to agriculture produce. Similarly, information communication technology intended connecting 600,000 villages we have, that is through information technology. That is innovation we have to make, how to use the wireless system, and how to use the fiber optics to reach the villages so that we can carry education or communication. And the third area is the infrastructure development. And 4th area is the critical technologies. So these have been identified, and not only agriculture, every field we have to, there are 5 areas are there, we have to work on that.
Dr. Kalam, thank you so much for coming on Rajya Sabha TV India Interacts. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a loud applause